Player ratings then: Everton 1, Wolves 0 at Goodison Park. Finally a win at home for Everton Football Club. It's only taken us till the last home game of the season. No, we won before at home, believe it or not, this season, but not many times. It's definitely a rarity. So a brilliant win. Again, not the best performance, not the greatest performance, but at the end of the day, it's a results business, and that's all that matters. You could clearly see in the first half that, you know, we're still missing a lot of quality in this team. We're still missing a lot of quality in this squad. But, you know, we pulled through. We played, I think, to the advantage of the crowd. And we come away with what is a big win. Now Aston Villa beating Tottenham as well before. So I think that leaves us joint points with Tottenham and West Ham. So if West Ham lose today, then it goes on to obviously the last game of the season, which is Manchester City away, to be fair. But, you know, we'll come to that we'll get to that when we come to it next week. Anyway, this is the player rating, straight into it then. Jordan Pickford. I'm going to give Jordan an 8, to be honest. Didn't really have an awful lot to do, but he also didn't do an awful lot wrong either. I think the defence in front of him was absolutely exceptional tonight. But Jordan can only do what he has to do, and he did that well. He come and collected the ball a couple of times from corners. He sorted it out. You know, he made a couple of comfortable saves. He made one from Gibbs White, I think, in the first half, which was a good save, which was testing him. And like I said, Wolves didn't have many chances. They didn't have many opportunities. But, you know, Jordan done what he needed to do, and he done it really well. So Jordan Pickford is getting an 8. Luca Dean, I'm going to give Luca Dean an 8 as well. Got down that left-hand side and put a couple of really good balls into the box, promising balls into the box on a number of occasions for Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison. Defended really well as well. Just a typical Luca Dean performance really today, wasn't it? Like I said, he's had a very good season in my opinion. There's not many Everton players who've had a very good season, but Luca Dean is certainly one of them. He's been very consistent, and he was again tonight. So Luca Dean's getting an 8. Michael Keane's getting a 10. To be honest with you, absolutely exceptional performance by Michael Keane today. Everything that he had to deal with, he dealt with it. He gets an extra... In fact, no, Michael Keane's getting an 11 because he gets an extra mark for that slide tackle on Adama Traore, which was absolutely brilliant. It was a fantastic sliding challenge, but, you know, everything else that come in, he dealt with, whether it was in the air, whether it was on the floor. He defended really well in possession as well. He pushed up, he got the ball out, he played the ball out well. And yeah, not a fault wrong today, Michael Keane. A really good, solid defensive performance. So Michael Keane's getting a 10. Yerry Mina next to him, I'm going to give Yerry Mina a 9. Not as involved as Michael Keane was, but still, you know, a fantastic performance by Yerry Mina nevertheless. Again, you know, we're just so much more comfortable, aren't we, when Yerry Mina's on the pitch? We're so much more solid as a defensive unit, because he just, you know, again, everything that comes in, he deals with, whether it be in the air, whether it be on the floor. He just deals with everything. He's like a mountain of a man, isn't he? And yet, like I said, wasn't as involved as Michael Keane was, but certainly... Sorry, a taxi just drove past. I've been out to watch the match, so that's why I'm currently standing by a brick wall and I'm not in my usual position of in my bedroom. But no, another solid performance by Yerry Mina today, so he is getting a 9. Ben Godfrey, I'm going to give Ben a 9.5. Again, he really does play to the crowd, Ben Godfrey, doesn't he? You know, he's been absolutely exceptional this season, but who knows? You know, what he could have been if he'd have had a crowd at Goodison Park for the entirety of the season. You know, he feeds off those roars, and Everton feed off it, and we feed off a player like Ben Godfrey. You know, the crowd were loving the sliding challenges today. He was getting involved, he was throwing himself about. He was solid defensively. There was a couple of times he lost his position a little bit, but I don't really mind that too much because it never came of anything, and he makes up for it with his ability on the ball. He did go on one of his trademark steamroll runs down that right hand side, and the ball into Dom was just a little bit behind him, but it'd have been a fantastic assist if Dom had managed to get it out of his feet quick enough. But yeah, Ben Godfrey is getting a 9.5 for me. Seamus Coleman, who was sort of part of a backline at times, also part of a midfield at times as well. The formation was a little bit strange again. It was sort of a 5 at the back, and we switched on a couple of occasions throughout the game. I'm going to give Seamus an 8.5 as well, to be honest. I think, in fact, no, I'll give Seamus a 9. Again, pretty solid throughout the entire game. He frustrates me a little bit, Seamus Coleman, at times, because I think sometimes he's got the ball in really good areas and he just cuts inside and tries to pass it backwards rather than take that risk and go forwards. But listen, I understand it, but there wasn't many options for him. But he battled, he worked hard, he fought, and I thought he put in a really solid performance today. Some would argue that he was man of the match. Not mine was Michael Keane or Ben Godfrey, but he was certainly up there, Seamus Coleman. On the left then, Gylfi Sigurdsson, yeah, well, he was on the... I'm sort of classing him on the left. He played in number 10 at times, didn't he, behind Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison. But, yeah, again, he tried hard, didn't he, Gylfi? He wasn't massively involved in the first half. Nobody was, to be fair. It wasn't the greatest first half at all. It was, like I said, in the instant match reaction, there wasn't any cohesion. There wasn't any sort of forward-thinking play. There wasn't any movement, really. It was just a real shambolic first half, if you like. The type that would put in, you know, an awful lot of Goodison this season, but I think we come out in the second and we reacted to the crowd, and I think Gylfi Sigurdsson reacted to the crowd, to be honest with you. He tried a couple of speculative efforts, didn't he, that were actually very close. I was watching it on the telly in the pub, and the both of them, we all stood up and sort of screamed because we thought that they'd curled into the right-hand corner. Unfortunately, they didn't. They were just past John Ruddy's goal, but I don't mind that from Gylfi Sigurdsson. I really don't mind, and in fact I like it. I like when players have shots. I like when players attempt things from 20-30 yards out. We don't have enough of that. We don't have enough of players shooting from outside the box or taking that responsibility and having a go, and Gylfi did do it today. So I'm going to give him a 7, because he wasn't massively involved in the first half, and he wasn't massively involved in the second either. There was a couple of nice passes and he did have the 2 shots, but again, you know, although he wasn't massively involved, he done all right, didn't he? Alan then in the midfield. I'm going to give Alan a... difficult. I give Alan a 7.5 as well. I think for the most part he was demanding. He was picking the ball up, he was moving it forward, he was battling in that midfield. Again, played off the crowd brilliantly, Alan, in the second half. He was throwing the challenges and he was getting about, he was barging people off the ball. He was quite quiet in the first half, and I think he was part of a midfield in that first half that were just all over the place, to be honest with you. There was no real cohesion, like I said, no real sort of movement, and I think Wolves found it far too easy to get through us in that first half. Obviously they didn't do anything with the ball, which is good for us, but I think they found it far too easy. Alan did come into his own in the second half, and started to look a lot more comfortable, but yeah, there you go. He could have been better, but he put in a relatively alright performance, didn't he? Abdoulaye Doucouré, I'm going to give him a 7 as well. Look, I really like Abdoulaye Doucouré, and his energy is absolutely infectious, and you can see it's infectious because everybody else sort of gives a little bit more when Abdoulaye Doucouré's on the pitch. He's running around, he's battling, he's picking the ball up. One thing I think lets him down is his passing. You know, could he improve on that? Absolutely. I think a couple of times today his passing let him down. You know, I think one of them he just passed it right out of play for some reason. I'm not too sure why, but yeah, look, again, the thing with Doucouré is he'll get the ball, he'll chase the ball down, he'll get it, he'll pass it, he'll give it away, but then he'll go and get it again. So he sort of makes up for his lack of passing ability with his work rate, his effort, and overall just his energy, really. I think again he grew into the game in the second half as well, but I think in the first half he struggled. Onto the forward line then, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I'm going to give Dom a 7.5 today. He ran round, you know, he worked hard, he battled, his work rate's there as it always is. His determination's there, his passion's there, his fight's there. But he didn't get many opportunities today, granted, for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, to be fair. He had one where Richarlison slipped him through, and he just couldn't get... Well, he got the shot off, but it was saved by John Ruddy. He just couldn't squeeze it beyond John Ruddy. But other than that, he didn't really have many opportunities. He had a header, I think, in the first half at the back post from a Luca Dean corner. But yeah, like I said, he worked hard, he ran round, he put himself about, he battled, you know, he pushed the Wolves defence about with his physicality, but he just wasn't massively in the game, was he? To be fair, he wasn't massively in the game. And then Richarlison's getting a 9.5. Look, some people might say, oh, you love him, Cam, you're only saying that because you love him, this, that and the other. A lot of people are questioning Richarlison's determination, and does he want to play for Everton? Does he care about Everton? Does he want to succeed? Is he bothered? His attitude's bad, his attitude's this, his attitude's that. And they're all, you know, fair assessments, and, you know, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and that's fair enough. And look, recently Richarlison, has looked like his attitude is a little bit poor, and his head's down, and he's sulking, and he's dropping, but you could see how much that goal meant to him today. Excellent goal, by the way. I think it's Gylfi Sigurdsson who puts the corner in. So I bumped Gylfi, scored up to an 8 just for the corner. But it's an unbelievable header. He rises above everybody, he gets a brilliant connection on it, and John Ruddy's absolutely nowhere near it. And look at how much it meant to him. Look at the celebration, look at the passion, look at the scream, look at the roar that come out of Richarlison when he scored that goal. He loves playing in front of fans, Richarlison, and he really feeds off that. We can say what we like about him this season. We can say he hasn't had a great season. We can say, he struggled, but today he popped up with the winning moment, and that's what we've needed more from him this season, and we haven't had it. But he brought it today, and it was a great head, and it was a great goal. Onto the substitutes bench then. Tom Davies. Give Tom a 7. He come on, he worked hard, he ran round. He didn't have a lot of the touches of the ball, to be fair, but he kicked about, didn't he? He got himself involved. He got in the face of Wolves players. He battled, he fought. There was grit, there was passion, as you always get with Tom Davies, to be honest. I think Tom should have come on an awful lot earlier, but yeah, didn't really have an awful lot to do, but he got about and he mixed it up a little bit, which I think is why he was brought on. Andre Gomez, give him a 6.5. Again, didn't do anything wrong. Didn't really have anything to do, to be honest, but didn't do anything wrong. Couple of nice touches of the ball, played it off, nice 1-2s here and there, but wasn't on the pitch long enough really to do anything else. And then Mason Holgate come on for the last 90 seconds and again just filled in a space in the centre of midfield, which is a position that I think a lot of us have wanted to see him more in, and he done an alright job there. He didn't have an awful lot to do. He was only on the pitch for couple of minutes or so, but whatever he had to do, he done it well. He battled and he fought, and there was one time where he gave the ball away and he invited a little bit of pressure on, but luckily enough, when you play Mason Holgate in midfield and he does that, he's giving the ball away in the opposition half. He's not giving the ball away outside of our own box and inviting pressure there. So Ben Godfrey, I think, was able to get back and sort it out. But yeah, there you go. They are the player ratings. Let me know your thoughts on them in the comment section down below. A fantastic win for Everton Football Club. I know it doesn't make up for the previous however many defeats at Goodison Park. 9 defeats it is this season, which is absolutely disgusting. But we had the game of football to play tonight, and all we could have done is turn up to win. And I'm just happy that those 6,500 Evertonians that were at Goodison Park were there to witness a 3 points and a win. And it wasn't a great performance, and we know that. We know the limitations of this squad. We know that it's massively lacking in quality, but they pulled through in the end. They battled in the second half, and Richarlison pops up with the magic that gets us all 3 points. And with the Villa results, hopefully West Ham drop points as well. Who knows? The fight for Europe might go down to the last day, where, like I said, Everton have got a very winnable game. Oh, hang on. No, we haven't. We play Man City at the Etihad, but look, there you go. What can we say? Big thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this one, please do hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. Check out the Instant Match Reaction if you haven't already. We'll be back with the game review tomorrow morning, so join us live for that one. Big thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.